Welcome to everyone. Today we will see the introduction for the subject signals and systems. In the last week, I have uploaded one video lecture on electrical engineering materials. This is an elective subject. As we have seen the syllabus, there are 3 electives. In elective 1, you are having electrical engineering materials, signals and systems, and third one is applied physics. So you are having an option of choosing either signals and systems or electrical engineering materials. So last week we have an introduction on electrical engineering materials. So in today's class we will be having a brief introduction to signals and systems. So what is signals? Signals and systems. So signal, anything that carries information is a signal, or mathematically we can define signal is a function of one or more independent variable that conveys information about something or some physical phenomenon. Example of signal may be voltage or current in electronic circuit. So voltage or current in an electronic circuit is an example of signal. Signal, generally we define signal as anything that carries information. Information may be in terms of anything. It may be either voltage or current in electronic circuit, or it may be position, velocity or acceleration of an object, or it may be a force or torque in a mechanical system, a flow rate of liquid or gas in chemical process, or any image, video, audio, or a stock market index. So these are the example of signals. And how do we mathematically define signal? Signal is a function of one or more independent variable. So how do we write a function f of t? F of t, function of variable t. So there may be one variable, two variables, or many variables. So in general we define function of t1 comma t2 up to tn, and in short we represent it as t subscript k, means k may take any value from 1 to n, and this t is called independent variable. On the other hand, the function is dependent on these variables. So whenever we write a function f of t, function of time, means function is dependent on time. That means time is independent, function is dependent on time. So signal is a function of one or more independent variable. Variables will be independent and signal will be dependent on these functions. Simple example, sine waveform. How do we plot sine waveform? On x-axis we will be having time, on y-axis we will be having different values of sine of t. So different values of sine of t are dependent on different values of t. So x-axis will be unchanged, that will be independent. On the values of x component we will be determining the values of y component, and finally we will be plotting a waveform. So waveform is an example of signal. So that was mathematical representation. So signal, right now I am speaking, so speech is again an analog signal. Analog signal is a signal that occurs in practice. So all the real-time signals are analog signals. So whatever happens with respect to time is called an analog signal. How we are going to decide whether it is in practice or in ideal situation? In practice, in day-to-day life, everything happens with respect to time. We will be having sunrise, we will be having evening. So all the things happen with respect to time. So whatever happens with respect to time, that is called an analog signal. And one more type is there, digital signal. Digital signal, the signal those are in terms of zeros and ones are called digital signals. So digital signals don't exist in practice. Digital signals are the synthetic signals. We obtain digital signals from analog signals. Just look at the example of computer. You are having laptop. Computer only understands the language of zeros and ones. So we cannot understand the language of zeros and ones. That is called binary language. So binary language is obtained after converting analog input into digital input. So that was the brief introduction about the signal. And what is a system? System takes an input, performs processing on that input and produces some output. So system takes an input, produces the output. So the subject is signals and systems. So in this subject we will study different types of signals, different types of elementary signals, classification of signals, and what are the operations to be performed on signals. And systems will perform operation on signals and produce the output. Those are called the systems. Classification of signals. This classification is based on various parameters. The first classification is based on dimensionality. Dimensionality means number of independent variables. We have seen the formula function of t1 comma t2 up to tn. So function of one or more independent variable. So number of variables defines this type of classification. In first classification, if the signal is dependent on single independent variable, that is called one dimensional signal. One dimensional signal is a signal that is dependent on single variable. The example is audio signal. Audio signal is one dimensional signal, and a signal that is dependent on more than one independent variable is called multi-dimensional signal. So the example is image. Image or photograph is an example of multi-dimensional signal. Audio, on the other hand, is an example of one-dimensional signal. Second classification is continuous or discrete independent variables. So all these classifications are based on type of independent variable. Type of independent variable decides the type of signal. First type is continuous time signal. A signal with continuous independent variable is said to be continuous time signal. The example is voltage waveform. Continuous time signal, the waveform will be continuous. Example is cos waveform, sine waveform, or voltage waveform. The waveform won't be discontinuous. Means the value of waveform will be present for each and every instant of time. That is called continuous time signal. Second classification is discrete time signal. A discrete signal is a signal with discrete independent variable. It is said to be discrete time signal. Discrete means the signal will be present only for some defined values. The example is stock market index, or we can also consider the example of your cricket match. In cricket match, the overs are definite. Definite means, for example, consider 2020 match. In 2020 match, there are 20 overs. And how do we calculate the runs? In 1 hour, for example, 10 runs. In second hour, 5 runs. And how will you get the graph? On the graph, on the x-axis, you will be having overs. Overs will be finite. 20 hours. First hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour. There won't be any 0.5 hour. There won't be any 2.5 hour. There won't be any 2.6 hour. So overs are discrete. Discrete means integer values. So alternatively, we can also define discrete signal as the signal that is present at discrete intervals of time, and those discrete discrete intervals are integer multiples. What is an integer? Integer is not a fraction. That is 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus So discrete time signal is present only for discrete chunks of time or discrete intervals of time, and those intervals will be an integer number. Integer is not a fraction. On the other hand, in continuous time signal, the signal is present at each and every instant of time. It may take fractional value. For example, time has been defined from 0 to 2. So the signal will be present at 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4. Means it will take all the fractional instants also. That is called continuous time signal. On the other hand, discrete time signal will be present only for discrete interval. Another classification is classification based on dependent variable. A signal with continuous dependent variable is said to be continuous valued. Continuous valued means if the dependent variable is continuous, the signal will be continuous valued. Example is voltage waveform. So continuous time signal or continuous valued signal, both are same. And the example of discrete signal is a digital image. What is the difference between an analog image and digital image? Digital image is the image that is stored in terms of binary form. Simple example, whenever you capture the image with the help of digital camera, why it is called digital camera? Image is going to be analog signal. If you look at the image, you can see yourself, but how you are going to store the image on hard disk or in memory? Memory consists of flip-flops, and in memory, if you want to store something, that has to be converted into binary format. So that's why image is stored in terms of binary string, that is string of zeros and ones. So in terms of zeros and ones, the image is going to be stored on either SD card, you are having hard disk, or computer memory or pen drive. So that's why it is called digital image, the image that is in terms of zeros and ones. And you might have observed one thing, whenever you store the image, it consumes some memory, 1 KB, 2 KB, 3 KB. So that KB, kilobits, that indicates the number of bit streams required to represent the digital image. A continuous valued continuous time signal is said to be analog. So don't get confused with analog signal or continuous time signal. A continuous time signal is an analog signal that is present at each and every instant of time. Example, voltage waveform. Or we may have speech signal. Speech signal is continuous time signal. Right now I am speaking, so I am speaking continuously. It will be for certain duration, for 2 seconds, 5 seconds. Whenever I am speaking for 5 seconds, it is continuous speech. It is not the case that I am speaking only at 1 second, then I am taking a pause, then I am speaking at 5 seconds. So continuous time signal, best example is the speech signal. And the second one is a discrete valued discrete time signal is said to be a digital signal. Digital signal is a signal that is discrete in time as well as discrete in amplitude. So remember two things. A signal that is discrete in time means time intervals are discrete, as well as amplitude intervals are also discrete. The signal is said to be digital signal. So that is the graphical representation of signals. The first one is the continuous time signal. Just look at the left side figure. On the x-axis, that is horizontal axis, with respect to time. On y-axis, you are having x of t. X of t is a function of time. X of t is a function of time means the value of x of t will be dependent on time. So that's why x of t is dependent on t, and t is independent. T is not dependent on any other variable. So that's why a signal x of t is a dependent function on what? On independent variable t. And one more observation you need to make. Just look at the value of x of t. You are getting a continuous curve. there is a continuity, that's why it is called continuous time signal. Just look at 0, it is having some value. Now observe the value from 0 to plus 10. 0 to plus 10 you observe one curve. How do you obtain the curve? Means from 0 to 10 there will be different values, 0 to 10, 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4 up to like this 9.8, 9.9 and finally 10. So at all these instants of time x of t is having certain value. So a continuous time signal is present at each and every instant of time. Now what is under observation? Minus 30 to plus 30. Now from minus 30 to plus 30 the signal is continuous, means it is present at each and every value of time. There is no any discontinuity, so that's why it is called continuous time signal. Now look at the second figure, discrete time signal. Now look at the x-axis. On x-axis you are having discrete intervals 0, 1, 2, 3 and minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Now all these values are integer values. What are integers? Integers are whole numbers. Those are not fraction. Now x of n is a dependent function on n. N is on x-axis, x of n is plotted over y-axis. Now just look at the time instants 0, 1, 2, 3. Now observe one thing, the signal is present at 0, it is present at 1, at 2 as well as 3. And just look at the interval from 0 to 1. From 0 to 1 there is not any signal. Again from 1 to 2 there is not any signal. Again 2 to 3 there is not any signal. And the same holds true for negative integer values also. Negative integer values are minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. 0 to minus 1 no sequence, no signal is there. Minus 1 to minus 2, minus 2 to minus 3 no signal is there. So if you look at the sequence, it is discontinuous, and because it is discontinuous it is called discrete time signal. Discrete time is discrete. Time is discrete means just look at the x-axis. X-axis is having only integer values. That means it is only integer multiple of n. N can take any value from 0 to n. It may take positive values as well as negative values. Now just look at the value of x of n. X of n is having values from 1 to 3 and one of the value is lying. Just look at the instant 0. At 0 you can observe that this point, you can observe that one value at 0 is between 2 to 3. So that value is not integer value, that value is non-integer, fractional value. So discrete time signal is a signal that is discrete in time, continuous in amplitude. Continuous in amplitude means the amplitudes can take any non-integer value, and this is one type of representation. We represent discrete time signal as a function of n, x of n, and n indicates an integer. Now how do we represent analog signal, continuous time signal? It is a function of time, x of t. Time is continuous as well as amplitude is continuous. So the signal that is continuous in time, continuous in amplitude is continuous time signal, and discrete time signal is discrete in time as well as discrete in amplitude, and that is the notation. Continuous time signal is always indicated as a function of time, and discrete time signal is indicated as a function of an integer value n, and discrete time signals are called as sequences. So these are very basic things. X of n, whenever there is a notation x of n, it indicates discrete time signal or a digital signal. For both the types of signal the same notation is used. X of n is also called a sequence. On the other hand, continuous time signal is x of t. But all the continuous time signals are real time signals. Audio signal is there, speech signal is there, whatever whatever happens with respect to time is called an analog signal. So this was the graphical representation of signals. Now system. What is a system? A system as an entity that processes one or more input signals in order to produce one or more output signal. So this is the configuration of a system. It takes the inputs, it processes the input and produces the output signal. So the example of system may be you are having a CRO, you are having an amplifier. What the amplifier does, it improves the current levels. So whatever the processing is performed, it is by system only. So system will take some input signals, it will apply processing, and finally it will give some output signal. The example of system may be a filter. Filter is used to process the signal. Process the signal in what sense? We want to retain the required information. How do we retain the required information? It is based on our design parameters. We have different types of filters such as low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filter, band stop filter. So based on the design requirement, we are interested in the frequency component. So it is an again example of processing device. Now we will see the classification of systems. It is same as that of classification of signals. In classification of signals, we saw one-dimensional, multi-dimensional signal that were based on the number of independent variables. Again, we saw continuous time signal, discrete time signal, continuous valued signal, discrete valued signal. Accordingly, we will see classification of systems. The first classification is based on number of inputs. A system with one input is said to be single input system. A system that is having a single input is said to be a single input system. Just look at the figure. If it is having single input, it is called single input system. If it is having multiple inputs, it will be called multiple input system. A system with more than one input is said to be multiple input system. Again, the classification based on number of outputs. If a system gives a single output, the system is said to be single output system. If a system gives more than one output, the system is said to be multiple output system. And based on the types of signal processed, there is one more classification for the system. A system can be classified in terms of types of signal that it processes. So whatever the types of signals are given as input to the system, that decides the type of system. So consequently, terms such as the following can also be used to describe the system. Now this type of classification is based on the types of signals. In types of signal, we have seen one dimensional signal and multi-dimensional signal. So the system that processes one dimensional signal, that are said to be one dimensional systems, and the systems that processes multi-dimensional signals are said to be multi-dimensional systems. Again, one more classification based on the type of signal is continuous time and discrete time signals. If the system processes continuous time signal, the system is said to be continuous time system. If it works on discrete time signals, it is said to be discrete time system. And again, if it uses analog signal as an input, it is called analog system, and same holds true for digital systems also. So that was about the classification of system. Now these are the example of signal processing system. So what is a system? System takes the input, performs some processing and gives the output. So these are the examples of system. First one is processing a continuous time signal with the discrete time system. What does that mean? The system is discrete time, but it is working on continuous time signal. But the thing is that whether discrete time signal will accept continuous time signal, no, because discrete time system will require discrete time signal as an input. But in this case we are having continuous time signal as an input, so we need to convert continuous time signal into discrete time signal, then only it can be given to discrete time system. Just look at here. So the input x of t, always remember the notation x of t always indicates continuous time signal. Now continuous time signal cannot be directly fed to discrete time system, because discrete time system will be requiring a signal in terms of n. Just recall, whenever a function of n is there, it is a sequence or a discrete time signal. So we cannot directly feed continuous time signal to discrete time system, that's why we pass it through continuous to discrete time converter. So this converter will convert continuous time signal into discrete time signal. Now it is in acceptable form. Acceptable form means now it is in discrete form, that can be given to discrete time system, and discrete time system will process that signal. And finally what we want, the input was continuous time signal, again we want the input as continuous time, but the output of discrete time system is discrete in nature. So again we need to apply the reverse phenomenon that we applied at the input side. What we have done at the input side, we converted continuous time signal into discrete. Discrete was given to the system performed some operations and we obtained processed discrete signal, but we want the signal to be in continuous form, so we will pass it through discrete to continuous time converter, and finally we will get the continuous time signal, that will be the output. Now the second case is, I am having continuous time system but the input is discrete time. Continuous time system won't accept discrete time system. It is similar to if you want to interface with the computers don't understand our language. Just take the example of simple programming. In programming what we do, you might have studied C, C++. In C, C++ we write the programs, and we write the programs in compilers. So what is a compiler? Compiler converts our code into the machine code. What is our code? That is user code. User code can be written and understood by the user. For example, if you want to print hello, so you can write printf in two inverted commas hello. So that is for our understanding, but the machine won't understand that user language. So we require compiler. So compiler is a software in between the user interface and at the machine interface. Compiler will convert that user code into machine code. Machine code will be a binary file. So you might have observed, whenever you compile C or C++ program, if there are no syntax or any errors or there are no bugs, it will give code compiled successfully, and it will give some code size such as 2 KB, 4 KB, 5 KB. So that KB are the kilobits. Kilobits means that number of bits are required for storing that program file. The same case is there, the computer does not understand user code, that's why we require the compiler. And whenever you compile the code and finally you want to see the output must be printed in user format, that is English language. We cannot understand the language of zeros and ones. If you write 4 zeros, 3 ones, 2 zeros, so it is very difficult to interpret. So that's why we require in between softwares, so those are called compilers. So the same case is there, the continuous time system won't understand discrete time signal, so we need to convert discrete time signal into continuous time signal, that is D to C converter. The input is x of n function of integer, that is discrete time signal, that will be given to discrete to continuous time converter. It will convert that signal into continuous